Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chelsea Story Nook Podcast, a podcast where we dive deep into the enchanting world of the children's literature. I'm your host, Chelsea Chong Kim, and today we have a wonderful guest joining to share their journey and insights into their latest book. I'm delighted to welcome our children's book author, Andrea Coyne. Am I pronouncing that right, Andrea?
Yep, you got it.
Oh,
yep.
Awesome. The author of Hope is a Blanket to Chelsea Story Nook Podcast. Welcome to the show, Andrea.
Thank you so much.
I'm honored to have you here. So let's start with the introduction. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So hi, everybody. My name is Andrea Coyne. So just authored my first children's book and excited to hopefully have another one in the works, hopefully in the foreseeable future. But I was born and raised in a small town, and it's part of a larger area called the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania. We're right in the middle kind of New York and Philadelphia. And I was fortunate after college to be able to come back here. I got married and we purchased a home, and I'm raising my family here. But I have had a career in communications for a little over 20 years now, and was able to branch out on my own in my industry and launch my own communications company in 2021. And it's been a really lovely journey to really be able to, call the shots in my own life and have that freedom and flexibility of running a business. And I really think that's what helped me kind of have the bandwidth to be able to publish my first book. So I'm really excited to be here and see what happens next.
Wow, that's so amazing, Andrea. Now, let's get on to the book. Now, tell me about your book. What's the summary? Who are the main characters? What are the themes and meanings that you want the readers to take away?
Sure. So this is Hope is a Blanket.
Cute.
So this is my artwork. So a former coworker of mine, actually, a few years ago, we met and worked together during the time I was there for a little over 6 years. And we always talked about wanting to collaborate on a children's book together while we were working in corporate America. So I was so overjoyed that she accepted and helped me do the artwork for this. But so Coyne is my last name, and actually I think it's Gaelic. Coyne means wild goose. And so it's a mother and a son goose are the main characters of my story. And they're very much representative of me and my son. So it's about a bedtime conversation that happens when it's time for bed, and little goose realizes that he lost his blanket, and that makes him very sad, as most parents understand that struggle when a kid loses a stuffed animal or whatever it is, a pacifier before bedtime. And as they talk about going to look for it, Mother Goose says, "I hope we find it before bedtime." And the little boy says, "Well, what does hope mean, Mom?" So as they're going about the different rooms in their house looking for the blanket, the mother uses the blanket as a symbol for hope and helps explain the meaning to her son. And I don't want to spoil the end of the book, but it's a very happy ending. And it's a really fun way for part of the goal in the book was really to just create a safe space for parents and kids to have conversations about hope, which is something that I don't think our society talks about too much. And I feel like in a lot of ways as parents, we've forgotten how to have hope and how to look for the good in things and look forward. And so I wanted to allow this to just be a simple, fun bedtime story that rhymes and is kind of sing-songy, but also be a space where parents could have cool conversations with kids as well.
Oh my God, that sounds like a cute and heartwarming story. So what inspired you to write this book? What was the idea behind it and all that summary?
Sure. So in 2021, my husband and I were pregnant with our second son, and we were 16 weeks along, and unfortunately had a miscarriage. And it was really devastating to our family, and especially to our son, who was 6 at the time, to know that he wasn't going to be a big brother anymore. And so that week I went to a local bookstore to look for a book that I could read with him, and they just didn't really have anything that I thought was appropriate. And the owner offered to order a book for me, and I said, "You know what, save the order. I'm just going to write the book." And so I really used that experience to write a book that I thought would be useful for families to talk about grief and loss. And it's not just a miscarriage. It can be, the loss of, a pet dies, which we had that happen too that year. It can be that a friend moves away or you change schools, whatever it is. Grief and loss comes in many, many forms, and it's hard to talk about. And it's a lot easier to just kind of shove things under the rug and keep moving forward onto the next thing. But I think it's really important to to have conversations about what loss is and how you're feeling through it, but what you can find on the other side of that, which hopefully is hope.
Wow, that's amazing. I love hearing from authors about their journey and the inspiration behind the story. Could you share how you became an author and the experience that you shaped your
Absolutely. So I have wanted to write a kids book for a really long time. I actually, as a first grader, I remember my teacher reading a poem to us and just falling in love with poetry at age 6 and using my free time at night before bedtime. I had a little notebook next to my bed and I would write little poems and little stories. And so I've always wanted to write. I wrote some funny books like for families growing up as gifts or, just for the joy of writing. But I actually spoke with a local publisher in our area in the Lehigh Valley called Bright Communications many moons ago. And my son was just a baby because I think becoming a mom was a really big moment for me where I realized I really loved my son and couldn't wait to see where his life was going to go. But I didn't want to just completely not have, my life anymore. And I wanted to figure out more ways to continue to be creative and to give back and to just use my talents in ways that were fun. And so I talked to her many years ago about wanting to write a book and kind of just put a pin in that and said, okay, well, she's like, whenever you're ready, I'm here. And just, I never really felt really gung-ho about a topic or an idea. And it wasn't until, again, after we had our loss that I felt that writing a book was really what I needed to do to kind of process my grief and to also kind of almost give back and write something to help other people going through their own. And so I reconnected with my publisher, and she was fantastic in helping me just talk through the different ideas that I was having. And she was really a great coach. She actually calls herself a book doula. So she's kind of helping you birth whatever. And so yeah, she was really, really awesome. And then again, reconnected with my old coworker to do the artwork, and everything just kind of came together. I will say the process started writing in 2022. And I published the book at the very end of 2023. So it did take a little while for me. And I know sometimes it comes a lot faster for people, but for me till I actually got the words down, made some edits, got the artwork in, that's how it all came together.
Wow, what an amazing story you have there. As we wrap up, could you share a little upcoming events you have, future plans that you're particularly excited about, or would you like your audience to know?
Sure. So I'm really hoping to just stay engaged, especially in my local area, and be able to connect with families. Earlier today, I just did a book reading at a local coffee shop, and it wasn't even my book. It was just reading books for fun. I do use it as a way to promote my book, but I really just love connecting with families and reading to kids. So I look forward to doing more of those, hoping to get my book on shelves at a couple more bookstores and hopefully do some more readings with them. And then I do have friends a bit down the East Coast and now starting to go into central United States. So I've talked about trying to pull some strings and make a little mini book tour at some independent bookstores work. So we'll see if it comes to fruition. So I'd love to get out on the road and meet some more people and promote my book.
Yes, definitely. I do want you to come to the Pacific Coast. If you have any chance in your agenda, please come to the Pacific Coast. We would love to have you. And where can we find all your updates? Do you have any social medias or any handles you have?
Sure. Yeah. So right now, Instagram is my primary way of communicating, and so it's it's at Coyne, which is my last name, COYNE_Andrea, and so that's where I'm mostly talking about my book. And then my book is available pretty much anywhere online platforms where books are sold. So Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and a lot of local bookstores as well can order it and get it for you that way as well. And I really encourage people to support their local bookstores and order it through them if it's available.
Nice. Again, that sounds like an awesome adventure and future events you have there. Thank you so much, Andrea, for joining us today and sharing your insight. It's been a huge pleasure having you on the podcast.
Yes. Thank you, Chelsea. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in to the episode of Chelsea Story Nook Podcast. Be sure to check Andrea Coyne, the author of Hope is a Blanket. Check it out, and I'll have all the information in the description box below. And go follow her on all her upcoming events. Until next time, keep reading, keep imagining, and keep believing in the miracle story. I'm Chelsea Chong Kim, signing off. Take care, everyone, and let's carry it on. Bye! Thank you, everyone, for joining us on today's episode of Chelsea Story Nook Podcast. Don't forget to order a copy of Carol the Carrot Bowls for the Salad Bowl on Amazon now. Tune in to other authors' podcast interviews for exciting discussions about their latest books and exclusive sneak peeks. Until next time, keep reading, keep imagining, and keep believing in the miracle of stories. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the notification button. I'm Chelsea Kim signing off. Take care and carry it on.